We lived in a caravan park for 2 weeks, and here's why. Once Buds and I finished at Karijini National Park, if you're interested in seeing more of that vlog, definitely check out my last one. It was the most amazing place, and if you're planning on traveling Australia, specifically Western Australia, definitely put Karijini National Park at the top of your list. But once we left Karijini, we went to Tom Price, and when we arrived there, we booked one night, and then we're kind of like, what are we gonna do? Because it was school holidays in Western Australia. And we really wanted to go to Exmouth to swim with the whale sharks, but we didn't want to go to Exmouth when it was crazy busy, and we also knew that we would really struggle to find accommodation in Exmouth, and they don't have free camps and stuff. So we also didn't really want to be in caravans full of kids on school holidays. So we decided to stay at Tom Price for a full 2 weeks. Once we arrived at Tom Price and stayed that first night, we instantly just it was just the most relaxing, beautiful place. So 2 weeks we spent here. It had a pool, it had beautiful facilities. The pool too was great, because what usually happens is people come and stay at Tom Price, they wake up in the morning, they have breakfast, and then they head off to the national park to do all of the hikes and everything. But we'd already done the hikes we wanted to do. So the mornings were kind of busy at the park, and then from like 10 o'clock onwards, either people are leaving or they're heading off to the national park and then coming back later in the day. So during the day, Buds and I would have the whole pool to ourselves, which was amazing. And then usually around 2 o'clock, all of the families come back and the kids are in the pool, and it's just mayhem. So yeah, pool was beautiful and the facilities were amazing. Like the showers are all beautiful and white. They do have 2 big shower blocks. The brand new one was sort of closer to us, so we loved that. By the second week, we also discovered that Tom Price has this amazing pool, like community pool, and we spent most of our days there. So we'd sort of wake up, chill out in the morning, and then we'd head off to this pool. It was like $5 per person, and the water was just so much nicer than the pool at the caravan park. During our 2-week stay, it just felt more of a holiday, I guess, because you're in one spot at a time. We went out for breakfast one morning. I befriended all of the galahs at the caravan park, so every morning they would come to our campsite. I'd gone and bought sunflower seeds from the supermarket, like bird friendly sunflower seeds, and it was just the best. It was just really relaxing and a really nice way to ride out the school holidays before we were due to leave. Definitely though, if it wasn't school holidays, we probably most definitely wouldn't have spent 2 weeks there. And then it was time to head to Exmouth, and for the longest time, like I literally think I was like 12 and I was writing down my bucket list, and I've had swimming with whale sharks on it for so long. And that was sort of the gamble we took with not heading to Exmouth in school holidays, is that we knew we were going to be really on the fringe of whale shark season being finished and not being able to swim with them. But I had the most amazing whale shark experience ever. I am so glad everything just played out perfectly. When we first arrived at Exmouth, I actually had a really bad headache. I wasn't feeling well, so we booked a couple of nights accommodation. I think it was at the Pot Shot Hotel. It was just like a motel room, very basic, but it was perfect because Exmouth was like crazy windy. And when we got there, the first 2 days were insane, like crazy windy to the point where like you go to the beach and it's not nice, like it's just not nice. So we then ended up booking I think 4 nights at Yardie Campground, which is it's sort of right before the national park, and that's where all the amazing snorkeling spots are. And again, so windy. But then probably the second day we were there, the wind started to die off, and it was absolutely amazing. We went to all these beautiful beaches. I did the best snorkeling I've ever done at oyster shacks. If you go to Exmouth, go to oyster shacks for snorkeling. I forgot to take my GoPro that day, and I thought, oh, we'll just come back like another day, but we didn't because the wind picked up days later. Anyway, if you go to Exmouth, go to oyster shacks for snorkeling, because it was just like the fish, the coral, the water, like it was just the most phenomenal snorkeling I've ever done. And then it got to our, so we had 2 days at the caravan park, crazy windy. 1 day where it was really nice, and then the following day we'd been booked in for our tour for the whale shark swim. And I follow the whale shark company that we were going with on Instagram, and weeks beforehand they were posting lots about like the whale sharks they were seeing, and I was getting really excited. And then probably the 5 days beforehand when I was checking it, there was no posts on the whale sharks, and I'm thinking, shit, like they're gone, we're not gonna swim with them. And in my head, I'd fully convinced myself we weren't gonna see whale sharks. Like I 100% was like, we're just gonna have a really great day on the water, we're gonna snorkel lots, we're not gonna see whale sharks, it's okay. What happened is in the morning, the bus picks you up and it takes you to the boat ramp, and then you get on the boat. This was beautiful. We were on a big catamaran. Buds and I got to, you can move around the catamaran too, so they run you through all the safety and stuff. And then the sort of layout for the tour we went through Ningaloo Discovery. I think I'll insert them on the screen, but they're amazing. The whole crew was like just the nicest people. And when we took off, Buds and I sat on the catamaran, like the, what is it called? The mesh part. So and then we were going over big waves, and the waves are picking up, and it was just so much fun. Anyway, we got to the first snorkel spot. Now this is a spot where you don't have a lot of time in the water, but they just sort of gauge. It's like, this is what I think happens, is you get in the water and they sort of gauge like how good of a snorkeler you are, because that then determines what group you go in to see the whale sharks, right? So how to snorkel, how to swim, I've got some footage of that, I'll put that on the screen. But the water was pretty deep, so you're diving down to like see, there's fish everywhere, like absolutely everywhere, but to get down to the coral and have a proper look, we were diving down. And then we got back on the boat, and they have planes. So a lot of the companies, there are heaps of different companies that do whale shark swims. They have planes that go overhead and they try and spot the whale sharks, and then all the boats head towards there, but in like a really eco-friendly manner. Like it's not like a mad rush. I don't know how to explain it, but that's basically what happens. So we're all sitting on the boat. Pretty much everyone on the boat is under the impression that we're not going to see whale sharks today, because they mentioned on the boat they hadn't seen them for 4 days prior. So I'm thinking we're not going to see them. Like it's fine, because like I'd catered for that in my head. Anyway, and then I was walking up the side of the boat and I heard the radio going to like the captain of the boat saying, we've found one. And I was like, holy shit, they've actually found, like, still, we're not going to swim with it, but they've found one. And then they get all of us together, and we have to sit at the front of the boat, and the lady gives us a rundown being like, they've found a whale shark, but it's about an hour and a half away in the opposite direction to where they usually are. So we're going to start driving there, but sometimes they go down. Now, she's giving us this big spiel about how you swim with the whale sharks, all this sort of stuff. And then halfway through, she's getting signals from the captain. And then she's like, oh, look, guys, I'm really sorry. The whale shark's gone back down. And she said that sometimes they'll go down, then they'll come back up, and then they'll go back down again. But sometimes they go back down, they don't come back up. So we're all thinking, like, what's going to happen? Anyway, long story short, we got to swim with the whale sharks, and it was the most, we got to swim with one, sorry. It was one female, and she was about 6 to 7 meters long, and it was just the most phenomenal, breathtaking experience I've ever had. Like, I've had this on my bucket list for I can't describe the feeling of having a bucket list item for this long and then being able to achieve it when you assume that it's not going to happen. Like, it was so cool. So basically what happens is you get all your snorkel gear on, and you're in 2 groups, so 2 groups of 10, and we were really lucky to get in the first group. So that's why I think when you do that first snorkel, they just check to make who's like the strongest swimmers, because the strongest swimmers were definitely in group 1. And then you all line up at the back of the boat, and there's 2 entrances into the water on the back of the catamaran, and you're waiting for the captain to yell, go, 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 and then it's like everyone jumps in the water, and you swim out and you go in a straight line. You'll sort of see it in these videos here. You go in a straight line, and then the instructors are in the water and they're telling you where to look, where to put your head. And then what happens is the whale shark swims past you, and once you get past its fin, you can swim alongside with it. You're supposed to stay 3 meters from the side and I think 4 meters from the tail. But it is very hard because obviously the whale shark's moving. On the second dive that we did, so we were like, after that first dive, like when we were waiting on the back of the boat to go in for the first time, I was so excited that I was like shaking. I was like, oh, we're actually going to do this. Like, I'd fully convinced myself we weren't. The second dive was crazy because we're in the water, and you'll see it here, we're in the water and they're telling us to put our head in, and then the whale shark turns and it comes sort of towards our group. So the group sort of splits into in a mad rush, and then the whale shark comes through, and it was just insane. These whale sharks are massive and they're so peaceful, and it's just the weirdest experience, but it's so amazing. And then other groups started arriving too, like other boats, and each boat takes in turns. Like you sort of go away from the whale shark, then you come back in and you take in turns in swimming, and you're not in front of the whale shark goes where it wants to, you're just on its sides, and it was just beautiful. And then so we ended up getting to dive in with it 3 times, and it was amazing. On that 3rd time I was sort of behind it, and you see it start to go down, and then it was kind of like, all right, it's had its fun and now it's out of here. And it was just, oh my god, it was the most amazing thing that I've ever done. Like, yeah, it was so cool. Definitely put swimming with whale sharks on your bucket list. It was one of the best things that I've ever done, and I would highly recommend it to anyone. The crew that we went out with, the boat was amazing. You have lunch after that. So usually what happens is you'd have a snorkel in the morning, swim with the whales or the manta rays or whatever, and then have another snorkel in the afternoon. But because we'd traveled like an hour and a half the opposite way that they normally go, we then had to travel about 2.5 hours back due to the wind. So we didn't get that second swim, but no one on board cared because it was just the most amazing experience. So if you're ever in Exmouth, or you ever have the opportunity to swim with whale sharks, definitely do it. It was the most amazing thing. I hope you have enjoyed this video. This one is obviously a little bit different because it's not really a vlog sort of thing, but I am going to bring out a video next of all of the places we have been and where we've stayed. So I've kept a list in my phone of every night that we've spent and where we've spent it, and that's going to be my next video. So if you're interested in our travels or you're planning a trip, definitely subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, leave a little comment if you want to, and I'll bring that one out shortly, and it'll be really helpful. I don't want it to just be like a map of me showing where we've been. I want to give like a little bit of an insight to little things, just like little things that you pick up on the road and different places that you've been to. So hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one.